When I was coming up with this idea on the show, it was earlier in the USA basketball-Serbia men's game when Serbia was leading the USA basketball by a few points here. Now, as I'm currently watching the game, it is 81-57 and USA has really hit their stride. Here's what I will say. I'm not worried that the USA won't win gold. I'm not actually fearful that this team isn't going to be labeled the best team in the world. That's what they should do. That's what they have to do. That's what the standard of American basketball is. Serbia might have the best player in the world. Who knows? Maybe Slovenia has the best player in the world. We know you can field a top 5 list of the best players in the NBA. 4 of them are probably foreign. But the United States still kicks the bleep out of everyone else. But here's what I will say. The brand of basketball around the world has never been better. I just mentioned. Make a list of the top 5 players in the NBA. 4 of them are probably from a different country, not named the USA. As well as our men's basketball team has been indulged in the super team era. And we have seen super teams don't really work. Sometimes they have trouble aligning with each other. So when you add the complexion of it's a tough dynamic of a group to come together, meaning building a super team is just tough, although all the other USA basketball teams are super teams. Everywhere else in the world is getting better. And with the expectation to win gold, what happens if the USA, the impossible happens and they collapse? What happens if USA basketball doesn't win the gold? That's what I want to focus on. I mentioned this the other day on a radio show that I'm on. If the USA doesn't win the gold, and this is a serious conversation you have to have because of how good the world has become at basketball, thus still not nearly as good as we are. If they don't win gold, if they slip up, if right now they're destroying Serbia and they're really catching their footing and this segment means nothing, and it might mean, and it probably will mean nothing. They're catching their footing and they just roll through everyone else. If the USA doesn't win the gold medal, what does that do to the legacies of one LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant? If Steph Curry doesn't win the gold medal, it's his first time on the Olympics, you'll have people saying 30 years from now, well, that Steph Curry was awesome, but what did he do without Kevin Durant? Won a title, but this is what the arguments will be. What did he need after blowing a 3-1 lead to the Cleveland Cavaliers? Kevin Durant went to go get Big Brother. And the first time he steps on the Olympic court, he didn't work well with others. The best three-point shooter of all time? That could hurt his legacy. Kevin Durant, even more so. Steph Curry's probably the least out of all of them. But these are the big 3 of my era of basketball. If the USA doesn't win gold, for Kevin Durant, it's, real shocker. The guy that blew up 2 teams, blew a 3-1 lead in Oklahoma City, and doesn't work well with other star players, didn't win the gold. That's kind of on brand for Kevin Durant, although he's already won 1, but he was by far the best player on the team at that time. That was probably the worst version of the USA Olympic team that we had in years. Not the FIBA teams, the Olympic teams. And then lastly, what does it do for LeBron James if the USA doesn't win gold? I already believe LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. I think stats show it. I think LeBron James as a whole, his being able to go from any team and winning championships. Michael Jordan never did that. Granted, Michael Jordan never really had to. But regardless, let's just say that the argument's 50-50. Let's even say it's 55-45 Jordan. That's not the reason. But you have some reasons why you could say LeBron James isn't the best basketball player ever. Say he doesn't have a lot of championships, doesn't have more championships than Jordan, lost more championships than he won, can kind of be seen as a wanderer, at times a little moody, a little selfish, takes over teams. Jordan didn't necessarily do that. But then you can add another thing to the fold. LeBron James didn't win a gold medal. He won obviously before, but he was on the USA team in which he is still leading, didn't win a gold medal. What does that do for the USA? What does that do for LeBron James's legacy? Does it affect the GOAT conversations? When people talk about Michael Jordan, LeBron James, do they bring up but he was on that Olympic team that's severely disappointed? You can compound that with the 2011 Mavericks loss in the NBA Finals. And then with Kevin Durant, you can add the Wanderer, doesn't work well with star players. Kevin Durant blew up a couple of teams. Of course, he blew up USA's Olympic roster. Steph Curry, a guy that has never been given the credit that he deserves. You could say, well, again, he was on that team as well. What does it do for the era as a whole? The big three, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, the 2010s through 2020s, iconic faces of basketball. What does it do? What does it say about that era of basketball? What does it say? Well, how good were they? They couldn't beat the rest of the world like the 92 Dream Team did, like the 2012 team did, like the 2008 team did. I'm not saying at all that I'm worried about them winning the Olympic gold medal, but it is an interesting conversation. What does it do to the legacies of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Stephen Curry, who are leading this Olympic team to a potential gold medal? In this USA Olympics, they have nothing to gain and some things to lose because they're expected to win the gold medal, and they should win the gold medal, and I believe they will win the gold medal. But if they don't, it could potentially stain the legacy of those three players at least a little bit, potentially on the whole era of 2010s, 2020s basketball. So it's tough to be a Super Bowl or bust team always. It's tough to be a championship or bust team always. I hate watch USA basketball because I expect them to win, and if they're not, I'm frustrated, which is exactly where I should be because this team is amazing, and they will win the gold medal, and they should win the gold medal. But heaviest is the head that wears the crown. If they don't accomplish the gold medal, after a very disappointing FIBA in which the USA, I believe, came in 7th place, it could be a stain on the careers of Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and LeBron James.